Hello everyone, welcome to Real Sport Talk Weekly, back again. Big week in the NRL, the Mighty Dragons get another win over the vicious Sharks. No teeth in the Sharkies though. I think they were using the breeze in the first half, get some points on the board. Second half, did we use the breeze? We being the Dragons? Maybe, but we still won. Smashed them by a couple of points. So it does raise a question. Is it early season form, classic Dragons, and then we're going to have the big drop off? Or is this a team that can go all the way? Old mate Gus Gould seems to think so. And when's he ever been wrong? The crazy game against the Cowboys and the Broncos, which really seemed like it was going to go any which way, really got to feel very bad for old Scotty Bolton. Got stopped by the Broncos' best defender, who's made of solid steel, had a pad around it, stopped him dead in his tracks though. Cowboys would have win if the try goes over the line. The goalpost stopped him dead. Why the Broncos are actually tackling him towards the line, I'm sure they'll bring that up in training. So I'm not even going to give it to the Broncos because they still look pretty shit. But I guess they get the 2 points. The Tigers actually won again somehow. They scored 10 points and won. But this time it was a bit more impressive. It was against Melbourne and it was in Melbourne. It's a pretty tough prospect to only win with 10 points. So maybe the Tigers have the best defence in the league at the moment. Now, the big question has been, should the Manly and Parramatta game have gone ahead? It was 40 plus degrees in the absolute shithole that is Brookvale Oval. Was like the Ritz in 1942 and hasn't changed since. But 54-0 to Manly, so I don't know. A Manly really good, a Parramatta really shit. Jared Hayne basically completely screwed this club over. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one? Should the Heat stop a game? They apparently turned down a drinks break at quarter time. But 54-0, drink break would have been good. Moving on to some football news. The round ball football. Cristiano Ronaldo brings up his 50th hat-trick. Not too shabby for a dude who was out of form. I think the first half of the season he'd only scored, 6 goals or something. Now he's scored 40-something goals. I don't know if it's... I'm just never convinced that these guys are as amazing when they're scoring all these goals in Spain. And they move to another league. They move to England or Italy or pretty much anywhere but France, which is the worst competition. And you can never score 40 goals. There aren't many people scoring 40 goals, but these guys seem to be able to do it in Spain. It's like, I don't know, is the competition really there? Not taken away from 50 hat-tricks. It's a good bloody effort, but would he scored 50 hat-tricks if he'd stayed at United? Mo Salah, this guy is an animal for Liverpool. You've got to say he's the signing of the season. Hilarious that Chelsea had him on the books and let him go like they do with pretty much anyone good. You know Hazard's going to be out the door straight away at Chelsea at the end of this season as well. That place is a real nightmare. But Mo Salah, man, some of the goals he scored against Watford in their 5-0 win, he scored 4 goals and had an assist. But a couple of them, he had no right to score. He was surrounded by defenders. One time he looked like he was actually falling over and scored a goal somehow. I don't know if the goalie was having an off night or what the go was, but this guy's just like oozing confidence and scoring goals for fun. Crazy shit has gone down at Southampton though, so they're trying to scrap their way out of the relegation zone and they think Mark Hughes is the answer. Mark Hughes, who has failed everywhere he's gone, but he'll save them. I don't see it happening. I think Southampton will go down. They might win the FA Cup, They might do a Sunderland and win the FA Cup and get relegated. I don't want to see them get relegated because they're one of those teams that I don't hate seeing in the Premier League. I think they're pretty good. West Brom can fuck right off, but Southampton should stay. I just wish they could have got someone better than Mark Hughes. It's a revolving door of failing English managers. It just never ends. Hilarious note from the week in football is Mourinho's big old mental breakdown in a press conference with like a 16-minute rant about how good he is, and he's so good that he knocked United out of the Champions League twice. It's like, mate, you are the manager of United now. You should probably stop bringing up how you kept knocking them out of competitions. He's ripping into his players. He thinks the chairman's fucked. He's not making any signings. It's like, you spent $100 million on a midfielder who you bench. Where's wrong here? So Paul Pogba plays at Juventus. They make a Champions League final. I've got an idea. Just watch some videos of Juventus and copy that. Probably work out. Moving on to some local football stuff. In the ALeague, Graham Arnold has fucked off. He is no longer, well, he is technically, it's in the FC. Physically, mentally, he's long gone. He's got the dream job. He's the national coach of Australia, the Socceroos manager. And Sydney FC are stumbling. They do not look like the team they have been all season. And I don't know, I'm kind of hoping they get a bit of a wobble up and the Jets can run them down. It is good running into the finals that the team that's dominated all season starting to lose some form. It could make it more interesting. I'd hate to see another first, second grand final. It's just so predictable unless the Wanderers are first or second. Victory somehow figured out how to score goals again and put 5 past the Mariners. It is the Mariners. You know, we spoke last week about Paul Ocon apparently being in the running for the Socceroos job. You need to learn how to win games first and not have 5 goals scored against you. But Berisha gets a hat-trick. The most hated man and loved man in the A-League. He's loved if he plays for your team. He's hated if he's not. I dislike this man a great deal, but if he put on the red and black, he'd be my favourite player. The Socceroos play this weekend in Norway, against Norway. They're in Oslo at the moment training, and we're going to have to see how old Aussie Bert, our manager through the World Cup and for these couple of friendlies, keen to see how he sets up, if he gives some other debutants a run. And I just want to win these games. I want to look good in these games. It's going to be so disappointing if he sets up in a real pragmatic way and we just don't attack. It's going to be quite depressing. It's making me sad to think about it. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Aussie Bert needs to come through with the goods. So the third test starts in Cape Town tomorrow, and apparently they've got water again. So, you know, old Chatty Sayers can run those drinks out, fill them up at the tap. They had this crazy thing in Cape Town, this song that was going around with a drought, with this thing of if it's yellow, let it mellow, if it's brown, flush it down. So shit was getting real, Cape Town, real. Not as real as, like, you know, the 80s, but shit was going on. Big question is if Rabada's actually going to play. He's had to sit through like 2 6-hour hearings about this fucking tap on the shoulder he gave Steve Smith, and it boggles the mind. They wonder what's wrong with Test cricket, and you've got these old cockfaces that want to sit there and talk for 12 hours about how a guy bloody rubbed shoulders with another guy. Maybe they're all homophobic or something, but I don't know. Obviously they're all a bunch of fags. Apparently Mitchell Stark and Mitchell Marsh are under a bit of a injury cloud, but also could have been a slow news day when I heard about that, because I really can't see Chad Sayers actually playing cricket for Australia. It's more of a cheerleader. And finally, just a quick wrap up of what's happened in the NBA this week. My beloved Pacers keep on winning, and I believe they've gone to 3rd or 4th now in the Eastern Conference. So much for the start of the season when they totally blew the team up, sold Paul George to OKC and brought in a bunch of second-rate ringers. But Oladipo, man, that guy is he's a beast, and he's found his feet being the man of the club. So let's hope he keeps on keeping on. The Pelicans are really making some moves in the Western Conference, and I think Anthony Davis might be the flying under the radar candidate for the MVP this year. The guy's a beast. It seems like he's like 8'9", can shoot threes, dunk, block, whatever. And I think as he plays for the New Orleans, no one really gives a shit. But if this guy was playing for Golden State or the Rockets, we'd be talking about him a whole lot more. The Pelicans are just sneaking up the ladder. OKC, actually, speaking of Paul George and his mates Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, have stopped the Raptors' winning streak. And I'm sure it's not for long. The Raptors are too quality to be stopped there. But they did it, and it was classic Westbrook. He scored over 30 points, assists, rebounds. The guy's everywhere. I think they need to realise that when they go into the playoffs, that it's just like, hey, Paul and Melo, you can score some points, but give Russ the ball. Just give him the ball. And Ben Simmons, another triple-double. The guy's insane. Aussie guy. Can't wait for the next World Cup and bring on the next Olympics. I reckon Aussies can bloody have a good run at it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be back next week with live commentary, I believe, of the NRL. But we will confirm that via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those places you can get us at Real Sport Talk, with an A at the end. And make sure you tell your friends. See you next week.